Hey guys, RC Peck here. There is a conversation that I'm hearing over and over from people, and I touched on it maybe a week ago, but it's coming up more and more. And so I think we really need to talk about this. So, we are taught as investors to listen to stories. We're taught as humans to believe in stories and follow stories, right? That's one of the things that makes us human. And that's fine, but not so much when it comes to growing your money, protecting your money, having good night's sleep, having extreme clarity and control over your finances and your portfolio. And one thing that's been coming up a lot is people saying, well, look, Germany or Europe or Asia or Singapore or fill in the blank, they've handled this COVID thing so much better than the US. So I want to invest my money over there, right? And the story they're hearing in their brain is if they're managing COVID better, that must mean it's a better place to put my money. And so I start this conversation off with this screen in front of you. Now, we're not going to get into whether these are the right facts or the wrong facts, but it is some set of data by the worldometers.info. And so it doesn't really matter the data here specifically because almost any way I splice it and dice it, anything I see anywhere says Germany has handled this whole pandemic exponentially better than the US. Now, the reason I'm using Europe is Germany is because Germany is a very large country. It is a developed country. It is the closest thing we have to the United States. It's a democracy. There's about 90 million people in Germany. So it is definitely smaller than the US, which has about 330 million. But again, developed country and one of the largest democracies in the world, developed democracies. So it's in many ways the closest comparison we have. There are bigger democracies. Indonesia is supposedly a democracy. India is, but India is just a much different animal. It's gigantic in size. So I want to compare Germany and the US, but even more importantly, it's about buying stories over buying price, right? So what's happening is people want to buy international. People want to buy the German stock market. Maybe they even want to buy the Singapore stock market. So what I want to do is just let's compare and look at the US stock market and the German stock market during this whole epidemic. So on the screen here, what you see is the red line is the German stock market. Now, it includes dividends, and it's in the German currency, which is the euro. And the blue line is the S&P 500. So both the blue line, that's in its own currency, and the red line is in its own currency. And I picked February 19th-ish as the start date because that was the peak of the stock market around the world. So you can, as you look at the screen, you can see, okay, the blue line and the red line both fell. Okay, so no diversification would have helped. And look at the blue line. The blue line is the S&P 500 or the US stock market. That is performing so much better than the German stock market. And to a lot of people, it's angering or maddening how this, you could have the US stock market doing better than the German stock market. But again, because people are not taught to think in pictures or to think with price charts, they go with the story and they go, okay, good. I got some German exposure. I got some European exposure. Therefore, my money is safer. But actually, that's not true. It's the difference between buying a story compared to buying a price, right? And what you ultimately own is the price. Price makes your portfolio go up or down. And this is one of the reasons why people have so much stress and angst and overwhelm in their portfolios, because they buy these amazing stories. They buy these narratives that make sense to the brain, but then they look at their portfolio and it doesn't make sense. So this is just a great example where, yeah, you're right. Germany is handling it better, but the bottom line is you buy the price, not the story. Now, we could dig into why the S&P is doing better. The major tech companies in the world, they are like countries. They have the GDP of countries. They all reside in the United States. Facebook is a U.S. company. Google is a U.S. company. Amazon is a U.S. company. Right? These are U.S. companies. Apple is a U.S. company. We have these U.S. companies that are getting the benefit of all of the technology that is going on in the world that is eating the world. Netflix is a US-based company, right? And so you've got to go with what the price is doing and not what the story is doing. And on the previous chart, not the one I just showed you, but the one comparing COVID response and ratios and which one's doing better, At the bottom of the list was Singapore. Now, look, Singapore is like 3 million people. It's a teeny tiny country at the bottom of the Malay Peninsula, but still, they've handled it really well. And you can even look here on this stock chart, the Singaporean stock market being represented by EWS is the red line. And they're still down 20% from February 19th, where the S&P is only down 13%. And so this is just one example of how when you get trained to think with your eyes open, when you get trained to invest by looking at price and comparing it to story, so many things in your life change, become more clear. I call it having extreme clarity and extreme control over your finances and your money. One thing you may want to think about doing is just having me look at your portfolio, right? To many people, this is like, oh my gosh, what do I own that's anchors on my portfolio in life, and which are the sails in my financial boat? And that's something we do on one of those, I call them x-ray calls. Super straightforward. We just get on the phone, do a screen share, and I show you some of the things you own, what's hurting you and what's helping you. It's pretty amazing. Guys, thank you for being in my world. This is just another step of getting just more clarity and more control over your investing and your money. And I appreciate you guys being here. Please like this if you like it. Leave a comment. Subscribe if you haven't. Forward it to a friend who you think this may have value to them. And let me know what you want to hear more. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Again, this is RC Peck, and this is just another step helping you get more control and clarity in your finances in your life. All right. Thanks.